Before Motown took over the world, 1961 was packed with soul. Ben E. King, The Miracles, Ike and Tina Turner, Gladys Knight and the Pips, The Marvelettes, and more shaping R&B history, one vinyl single at a time. Kicking off the list at number 12 is Bobby Lewis with Tossin' and Turnin'. This is 1961 R&B in full attack mode. No slow intro, no warm-up, just straight into I couldn't sleep at all last night. Horns blasting, drums driving, and that vocal sounding like a man who really hasn't closed his eyes in hours. It's an insomnia song that somehow feels like a party. The kind of record that turned cramped living rooms into dance floors the second the needle hit the groove. For a lot of people, this was one of the first 45s they ever saw worn out from overplay. It dominated radio for months, and even if you weren't old enough to date yet, you knew this hook by heart. It's the perfect way to show how wild and high energy R&B already was at the very start of the 60s. At number 11, we slide into A Little Bit of Soap by the Jarmels. This is that perfect bridge between 50s doo-wop and 60s R&B heartbreak. The harmonies are tight, the beat is gentle, and the hooks sound so simple on paper. A little bit of soap to wash away a lost love. But the way they sing it, you can tell everyone in that studio knew you don't just rinse feelings off your skin. Kids in 1961 heard this everywhere, on transistor radios, jukeboxes, and those local stations that played nothing but vocal groups all day. It's not flashy, but it sticks. The lead vocal sounds almost casual at first. Then the emotion sneaks up on you by the last chorus. Have you heard when love because you die? It's the kind of record that makes you sway without thinking. And then suddenly you realize you're low-key reliving your first heartbreak. Holding down number 10 is Shep in the Limelights with Daddy's Home. On a Tuesday afternoon, all I could do was cry. This is slow dance R&B built like a letter from someone who finally made it back. The vocal is warm and reassuring, but there's a crack in it. Like he knows how much damage the time away has done. Simple drums, soft guitar, and a melody that feels like it was written to be hummed on a front porch after dark. Your daddy's home to stay. In 1961, this was pure school gym slow dance material. Lights low, teachers pretending not to see how close everyone's standing, and this record spinning while couples try not to look nervous. It's sentimental, but not cheesy. You feel the promise when he says he's home to stay. Daddy's home to stay. I'm not 1,000 miles. And if Daddy's home is the quiet relief of someone finally walking back through the door, number 9 is the sound of a crush so strong it turns your whole world into a daydream. Dropping into the list at number 9 is Gee Whiz, Look at His Eyes by Carla Thomas. This is early 60s R&B wearing its Sunday best. Her voice is soft, almost shy, but every line sounds like a teenager trying to put their first real crush into words. The arrangement is simple, light piano, gentle horns, brushed drums, but it gives her space to breathe, to pause, to sound like she's genuinely amazed by this boy she's singing about. Look at his eyes. Back in 1961, this wasn't just a song, it was a feeling. Kids heard it and thought, yep, that's exactly what it's like. Adults heard it and remembered what it used to be like. It's sweet without being sugary, emotional without turning into a full-on sob story, and that balance is why it stuck. If Gee Whiz is the sound of falling in love, the next track is what happens when love goes bad and pride gets bruised. Coming in at number 8, Bobby Blue Bland turns the temperature up with I Pity the Fool. This is R&B with blues bones, tight band, big horns, and a vocal that lives right on the edge of a growl. Bland doesn't sound heartbroken in a delicate way. He sounds like a man who's seen every mistake twice and is warning you not to repeat them. The lyrics are simple, but the delivery does all the heavy lifting. When he says he pities the fool, you can hear that he's been that fool before. In 1961, this was grown folks' music, played in bars, house parties, and those late-night radio hours kids weren't really supposed to be awake for. It's the kind of track that makes you pull a face when the horn section hits just right. And if this is heartbreak with a warning label, the next one is the moment R&B leans fully into romance and never looks back. Sitting proudly at number 7 is Every Beat of My Heart by Gladys Knight and the Pips. This is early 60s R&B already pointing toward the smoother soul sound that would define the decade. The groove is slow but steady, and the Pips' harmonies stack up like a support system around Gladys's lead. Her voice isn't flashy here. It's steady, emotional, and full of that quiet strength she'd become famous for. The song feels like a promise, like someone saying, I'm really in this, and meaning every word. For listeners in 1961, this was one of those records that made you pay attention to the names on the label. You could tell this group wasn't going to be a one-hit moment. There was too much control, too much feeling, too much class in the way they delivered every line. And if Every Beat of My Heart hints at where R&B is heading, the next one is where the energy jumps from the studio straight onto the stage. At number 6, we land on It's Gonna Work Out Fine by Ike and Tina Turner. This is R&B built like a mini drama. You've got that back and forth feel, almost like a conversation set to music, with Tina's voice cutting right through the mix. Sharp, playful, a little bit teasing. The band stays tight underneath. Chunky guitar, steady drums, and that early 60s groove that makes your shoulders move without asking permission. In 1961, this wasn't background music. This was the moment in the set where the crowd leaned in. You could hear couples reacting to the lyrics like they were watching a skit play out on stage. It's fun, but there's real bite under the fun, and that's what keeps it from feeling like a gimmick.
I started making wedding plans.
Oh, really?
This is the sound of R&B figuring out how to be both a song and a full performance at the same time. Next up at number 5 is Chris Kenner's I Like It Like That. This is pure New Orleans R&B energy. Nothing fancy, just a groove that grabs you by the collar. The piano drives, the drums bounce, and Kenner half sings, half talks his way through a party you instantly want to be invited to. The hook is simple and loud, built for people to yell back at the radio, the jukebox, or the band on stage. In 1961, this would have sounded like a neighborhood block party pressed it straight onto vinyl. You can almost see the open doors, kids running around outside, and grown-ups dancing in the kitchen with a drink in one hand. It's loose, joyful, and a little rough around the edges in the best way. This is the side of R&B that doesn't overthink anything. It just turns up the volume and lets the good times roll. Holding down the number 4 spot is Ernie Cadeau with Mother-in-Law. This one lives right on the line between novelty song and serious R&B jam. The groove is classic New Orleans, rolling piano, laid back but locked-in drums, and that unmistakable Allen Toussaint touch in the arrangement. On top of it, Cadeau goes full drama. complaining about his mother-in-law with so much flair, it loops back around into funny and iconic. People in 1961 didn't just listen, they laughed, sang along, and quoted the title like a punchline. It became one of those songs you couldn't escape, whether you were in a diner, riding in a car, or hanging out near a jukebox that someone kept feeding coins into. It's proof that R&B could be clever, messy, and still insanely catchy at the same time. And if number 4 is the playful chaos of everyday life, the top 3 are the songs that turned that chaos into straight-up history. Cracking the top 3, we've got Shop Around by The Miracles. This is early 60s R&B right as Motown is figuring out its secret formula. Smokey Robinson's lead is smooth but firm, like an older cousin giving you advice you don't really want, but definitely need. The groove is light on its feet, piano shuffling, drums popping just enough, bass walking underneath while the Pips-style backing vocals answer every line. The message is simple. Don't rush. Don't fall for the first person who smiles at you. Be smart with your heart. In 1961, that was both funny and painfully real. Teenagers heard it as a warning. Parents heard it as confirmation they'd been right all along. It was one of Motown's first big breakthroughs, and you can feel the label leveling up in real time on this record. Sliding into number 2 is Please Mr. Postman by the Marvelettes. This is R&B girl group perfection. You've got that stomping beat, hand clap feel, and a lead vocal that sounds like pure impatience. She's not just sad, she's frustrated, checking the mailbox like it's a life or death situation. The backing vocals answer every plea, turning the whole track into a conversation between hope and disappointment. In 1961, this wasn't just another song on the radio. It was Motown kicking the door open, proving that young black women from a Detroit high school could top both the R&B and pop charts with a story everybody understood. Waiting for a message that never comes. It's catchy enough for little kids to sing, but emotional enough that adults felt it too. And that mix of innocence and urgency is exactly why it still hits decades later. Taking the number 1 spot, no argument, no debate, is Stand By Me by Benny King. From the first few seconds, it barely feels like a 1961 song anymore. It feels timeless. That simple bass line, the soft, insistent beat, and the string arrangement creeping in like a sunrise. Benny King's vocal is steady, never over-singing, but carrying this huge weight of trust and vulnerability. I won't cry, no, I won't. He isn't begging, he isn't flexing, he's asking plainly, when everything shakes, will you stay? Back in 1961, this was already powerful. But as the years passed, it turned into something bigger, a wedding song, a comfort song, a movie song, an anthem people reach for when they don't know what else to say. It's R&B stripped down to its most human core. If the rest of this list is the soundtrack of a year, Stand By Me is the song that walked straight out of 1961 and never left. If these classics brought back memories, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who grew up on them. Then watch our deep dive on the 1960s R&B tracks radio stations tried to ban, censor, or quietly bury forever.